dollars in research grants that everything the V Foundation has been able to do to try to eradicate something that every single person listening to us this morning, I don't care who you are, I have met most of you indirectly or directly affected by cancer. So we're going to get into it all throughout the morning. You can donate at v.org/donate. That's V for valvano.org/donate. And most importantly, 100% of everything you give, $5, I get it. Some people are waiting miles in line to get food. Some people are waiting miles in line to get tested. But if you have $5 or $20 or $500, whatever you can afford, every single cent goes right to cancer research, which is pretty rare. Lots of charities are doing incredible work, but there's always overhead and salary and marketing and rent and this and that. Every last drop and cent you give goes to cancer research. Couldn't be more proud to be associated with this and working here. So we're going to talk about it throughout the course of the morning and what you can do to donate and do your part, no matter how much or how little you give. It's a lot about your time. It's a lot about your money. It's a lot about everything. So we'll get into that throughout the course of the morning. It's an amazing opportunity for you to get involved. And people are always asking, what can I do? What can I do to help people right about now? You can do plenty by donating, v.org/donate. Fellas, last night, it was Mr. Unlimited against Mr. Limited. I'm just going to say it, okay? I speak the truth.
Yes, you do.
Sometimes it's harsh, but I speak the truth. All right, fellas, let's just get right into it. The Seahawks win. They're back in first place in the NFC West. The Eagles have tumbled out of first place in the NFC East. Not too surprising. Jalen Hurts got on the field for a couple snaps, one pass, one handoff. But Key, Jay's been saying this for a while. Is it about time to hand it off at any point now to Jalen Hurts?
No.
Still no. Still no.
You even though Carson Wentz didn't play great last night, and I understand where Jay's coming from, but I also live in the real world of what these professional owners and general managers and presidents of teams and head coaches have to go through and think about. Sprinkling Jalen Hurts in last night, whatever, 2 plays, whatever it was that he had, that was always going to be the plan. Even though he was taking snaps reportedly with the first team, he's probably taking snaps with the first team all year long. But because Carson Wentz has played so bad, it became sensationalized to a whole nother level. And when you look at it, if you start Jalen Hurts to start, not necessarily starting, but if he was playing a significant amount of snaps last night and started to cook, now you got a huge quarterback controversy with a guy on your books for $50 million in Carson Wentz that you got to make a decision on.
So you're saying if a guy comes in and plays better than the guy that's putrid, that creates another problem?
That creates a huge problem because of the economics. These things are always driven by the money. Now, you asked me if Jay says, well, Key, if they should play him more or start him or look to him. This is what I will say. And, I tend to think that in these situations, I try to think like the coaches and the general managers opposed like a fan. I know that they probably should do it, but I also know that next week when they play, if Carson Wentz struggles, now I'm going to take him out because this is my last opportunity and chance. Last night was not my last opportunity and chance. I'm holding on by a thread, right? Next week, it's probably my last chance and opportunity if I lose that game. So if Carson Wentz is throwing the ball in the stands and not playing well or giving the ball to the other team like he did last night on the late drive, that could have put him even closer to Seattle and put the pressure on Russell Wilson. Instead, he throws an interception. He was cooking up to that point. They methodically moved down the field, put him in position. Some would argue they should have took the 3. I'm like, man, go for it. Go ahead and go for it because you got to score. Carson Wentz hasn't been the same guy technically since his ACL out in L.A. when he got hurt right before the Super Bowl. He hasn't been the same. Although last year he showed some good signs late in the year, Jay, but he just hasn't been the same. And as far as Jalen Hurts goes, it's hard to, at this stage of the game, when you got that type of money on the line, is to decide to bench your future, what you believe was your future, right now. You may be able to do it next week, but not last night. You couldn't do it.
I'm over it being Carson Wentz's fault. I'm over it, Key. Last night, Doug Peterson's Monday Night Football coaching performance was a fireable offense. It was a fireable offense. This team has lost their last 7 of 11 games. Watching the debacle between the quarterback competition is straight up embarrassing. It's logicless. He brings Jalen Hurts in for one possession. He completes a pass. He gets snagged very quickly. I know it was part of the strategy, Key. Snagged. But also, I mean, there are a lot of other things. Fourth quarter, Carson Wentz going for it on fourth down, being down. You're forcing a pass. He blames certain things on the quarterback. He doesn't blame certain things on the quarterback. Watching him at the podium, every post presser just seems to be more and more embarrassing. And at what point, I know their offensive line has changed so much. I think there was their 10th combination in 11 games that they played. I know that Carson Wentz is running for his life, but it just seems like the way Doug Peterson, I know he has one Super Bowl championship, but the way he is handled this year continues to be more and more embarrassing. And the play calling didn't seem like it was at its best last night.
Well, here's what I would say in terms of the Jalen Hurts completion. Well, the first opportunity he had, there was a false start on the right side of the offensive line. The tight end moved, the right tackle moved. Because of the cadence, when you're used to hearing a certain bark out from the quarterback in Carson Wentz, now you got a different cadence with Jalen Hurts. Even though y'all have practiced together some in a week, it's different. And so there was the false start. Although he would have completed that pass, would have been whatever, gain of yards. Then the next time he completes a ball, now all of a sudden they pick up 6 or 7. If you keep him in the game and he's doing that and they're starting to rally behind that, it makes your job difficult as a head coach to now stick with the guy that, and it sounds crazy. You gotta follow the money.
I hear you.
This is all about the money, not the right thing.
I'm sorry that driving the ball down the field efficiently can make your job difficult. But that's what coaches' jobs are to do, handle difficult situations. I will give you another example, Key. Early second half, he burns 2 timeouts before he even gets to the fourth. Then he throws a flag for a challenge, and you're like, that's not even a question. There's so many things that Doug Peterson is doing when you watch these games where you're like, what the hell is going on? What is going on? And I'm sitting there saying, fans are roasting Carson Wentz, and I'm like, well, I mean, Carson Wentz is who Carson Wentz is, Key. That's who he is.
But you gotta roast him because the coach, in my opinion, coaches don't get fired after winning Super Bowls in 3 years. They get, you win a Super Bowl, it's probably gonna give you another 5 years.
The franchise is only Super Bowl.
Yeah, they're gonna give you 5 after that Super Bowl, right?
Only one.
But Nick Foles did come in like Robert Horry and save the day.
No,
correct?
It doesn't matter though. Because I'm the guy with the statue in front of the stadium, and if I win, I'm going to get another 5 to get back. Typically, you're gonna get probably 5. If I lost a Super Bowl 3 years later, I'm probably gonna get fired. You just look at it. Dan Quinn, coaches that lose a Super Bowl typically get a couple years and they get fired. Well, guys that win, they usually are there for an extended period of time. So I don't necessarily know that Doug will be going anywhere.
No, look, if that's Jeffrey Lurie, who is the owner, if he's the one pushing for Jalen Hurts to play, somebody internally is pushing for Jalen Hurts to play. It feels like there's this self-sabotaging that's happening inside this organization. And Doug Peterson, it feels like just continues to get a pass because it only goes on Carson Wentz.
Be a part of the Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin Nation on the Dr. Pepper call-in line, 888-SAY-ESPN or 888-729-3776. Key J and Z on Twitter if that's easier. Simple question. The fellas just spent 7 minutes talking about it. Who should start for the Eagles? Wentz or Hurts? You know how Key feels? You know how Jay feels. ESPN Nation presented by Dr. Pepper. It's official. College football's back. So is your favorite Dr. Pepper-loving college football town, Fansville. Head to a store near you to treat your inner college football fan to an ice cold 20-ounce Dr. Pepper today. Again, if you can donate today, first day of V Week, v.org/donate. Jay and I have a special bond to Coach Valvano. Coach Valvano played at Rutgers from 1964 to 1967. And when Coach Valvano took his last breath, he took so in Durham, North Carolina, where Jay obviously built his legend, and just down the road, just down Tobacco Road in Raleigh, he'll be a legend forever. Again, if you can donate, v.org/donate. We'll get into it much more throughout the course of the morning and everything your money does. On the way, why 2 teams playing on Wednesday afternoon affects all